Global alert, global alert. The U.S. has resumed nuclear testing. Yes, you heard me right. This is not a gimmick. This is not a conspiracy. This is not clickbait. President Donald Trump announced after his tour of Asia, he was in China, he was in Malaysia, he was in South Korea, he was everywhere in Asia. And after returning back, he said, you know what? We're going to resume nuclear testing. And listen, when nations test nuclear weapons, it is not just a military event. Oh no, it's a signal, a shift in posture that ripples through trade, travel, and currency along with diplomacy. And as of late October 2025, the United States has announced it will resume nuclear weapons testing for the first time in over 30 years, matching Russia and China on an equal basis. Whoa, 30 years. This is like a new era. We're in 2025. So they haven't done this for, since about the Cold War ended in the 90s. I don't know if y'all remember the Cold War in school. I know I do, because I love history. If you don't know that I love history by now on this channel, then I don't know, you may not be listening. But hit the like button, share this video with 500 people, because the U.S. has resumed nuclear war testing. Oh yes. Oh yes. So you're in the new AI Cold War that also has to include nukes, because listen, OpenAI has some of the largest contracts with the Department of Defense, okay? And so they're literally a prompt away from asking ChatGPT, do we need to nuke somebody today? Now, for most people, this is just a headline, but for expats, investors, and relocation-minded families, this is a mobility alert, because when empires tilt towards militarization, the rest of the world quietly rewrites the rules that will govern your passport, your property, and your peace of mind. And here's the big picture. A 30-year pause has just ended. I want us to really soak this up and feel this moment. A 30-year pause where America was like, hey, we're not going to keep testing nukes. The world, we shouldn't just go up in flames across the entire earth. We should, try and keep humanity, alive and things of that nature. But hello, 2026, they're like, no, actually, we need to keep testing, as if they don't have enough nuclear power. Like, I think all these nations have quite enough nuclear power. Like, I think you're good on the nuclear front. But, President Trump, he's like, no, he renamed the Pentagon the Department of War. And so it just is what it is. He said he is coming to be a warmonger. Now, I want you to understand the last full-scale U.S. nuclear test occurred in 1992. Since then, the nation has relied on computer simulations and subcritical tests underground. Resuming physical detonations represents a major break from decades of diplomatic restraint. This isn't about science, it's about signaling. When a superpower rearms, its alliance rearrange, and within 48 hours of the announcements, discussion surged between U.S. allies in the Pacific, Japan, South Korea, and Australia on strategic matching. Now, South Korea was simultaneously declared to develop nuclear-powered submarines as part of a $350 billion trade and defense deal with none other than the United States of America. That means we are no longer watching isolated global militarization policies. We are witnessing a realignment of global power blocks. And with that comes new travel corridors, new allies, old allies may be going out the door, and new vulnerabilities. Next, we need to talk about the ripple effects for passports and visas. When security priorities arise, diplomacy tightens. And so this is what you can expect. Visa waiver suspensions for citizens of countries deemed security risks. I will keep saying it. You need to be in the most neutral countries that you can find on planet Earth. You need to find the Switzerlands of the places that you're going. You need to find the people that are not really into anything. And just so you know, there was actually a drug cartel war that had broken out in Brazil, like in broad daylight, the police fighting the cartel. And so I always say South America, Caribbean, I would probably choose a different continent. I'd probably be in Africa, which I am and have been for the past 5 going on 6 years. And that's just how it is, because These security risks look really, really crazy. Now, you're also going to see longer background checks at immigration, even for tourists, and additional proof of funds or residency for digital nomad visas. Or they're going to say, we don't even want remote workers. We just want you to have a business. If you're a W-2, they're going to be like, nope, no thanks. How about you have your own business and you be self-reliant and you turn that paperwork in, okay? Then you're also going to see new restrictions on dual-use technology exports, anything that can be linked to nuclear materials or AI defense applications. So here's the translation for everyday travelers. Here's the thing. Your next airport experience could depend less on your destination and more on which treaties your home country just signed or opposed. And if you're just relying on a US passport, you may want to diversify yourself from Washington's strategic priorities. And this is why Africa's seasoned expats and expats all across the world, quite honestly, acquire a secondary residence, a secondary home base, a long-term visa, or even finding a way to invest in foreign businesses, foreign stocks that allow flexibility when the tides change. Now let's talk about the documents that you cannot board without, okay? You've heard me say this before on this channel, but let's cover it again. Your relocation readiness is based on more than a frequent flyer number and your itineraries. You need proof of your alternative residence to get some of these visas, a lease, a land title, something of that nature, international banking outside of the US, okay? We cover that in the state of the diaspora. Updated medical and insurance records for cross-border claims. Plan B flight routes. Always do this. We just started doing this more often. Having Plan B alternatives is something that is super, super important in the world today because the world is so chaotic. You do have to have your Plan Bs and know which flight routes you would take if you wanted to get out of a particular country or if a particular region was destabilized, what would you be doing? And then copies of your vital IDs, birth certificates, marriage records, because in a digital, geopolitical, chaotic climate where sanctions and alliances can literally flip within days, preparedness equals permission. Because if you're not prepared and you just come up in these countries, they're gonna look at you like, you can go back to where you came from. Okay? Now, here's the economic undercurrent and why expats are going to feel this first. Go ahead, hit that like button, share this with 20 people. Share it in all your Facebook groups, share it on your YouTube, share it everywhere. You can tag me, it's cool, at Journey With Us, Move to Africa, at Journey With Us Finances. You can tag me, but we need to get this information out because what I'm about to tell you right now is going to dictate the way that the US economy and part of the global economy will look in 2026. Defense spending does not occur just in isolation. It pulls funding from social programs, inflates deficits, and can drive currency volatility. When the US shifts from consumer-driven recovery to military readiness, well, things look a lot different. Inflation will reemerge. The dollar may initially strengthen safe haven flows, but it will weaken long-term as debt expands because militaries and wars cost money and they usually go into a good, huge amount of debt to get that taken care of. And stock markets are going to rotate towards defense, energy, commodities, and AI. Either way it goes, AI will always be something that people are investing in the way that the world is right now. So just be aware of that. If you're holding retail stocks, honey, drop them. Just drop those things, drop them retail stocks. Get into AI, get into energy, get into defense, get into gold, get into silver. That's all I'm invested in, period. And it's given, like it's really, really given. Fintech as well. Y'all know my favorite, SoFi. Not only do we love SoFi for traveling, but we invest heavily in SoFi and trade SoFi. SoFi is just like giving. And if you want more information on that, maybe I can do a workshop about investing in options contracts with SoFi because it's so much fun. I just love opening the app and I'm up 65%. SoFi is on a super bull run, okay? Headed towards $40 for their shares. It's like getting in something early before it hits that couple $100 mark. Just focus, wait it out, keep trading, sell your contracts. But hey, I need to get back on topic. If you're planning on relocating, enrolling your children in different schools across the world, investing in local businesses, these shifts will determine your buying power. Smart expats are going to hedge in hard assets, land, gold, productive property, soft influence like language fluency, residency networks. And this is why the hidden holy strategy just became the smartest global traveler policy. I like to call this the hidden holy strategy, one, because I'm a believer. And so I read the Bible and use a lot of that terminology, like being set apart, being hidden, being holy, being, outside from a lot of things. I'm literally outside of most things, living on an island in the Indian Ocean. But listen, there's a reason many forward thinkers are quietly establishing life in low visibility nations. We're thinking places like Mauritius, Botswana, or Vietnam because they offer food certainty through local agriculture, affordable health care with international access, low corruption, and minimal foreign interference. This is spiritual sovereignty, okay? The ability to raise families in faith and freedom, not fear. When global powers posture, smaller nations become neutral and have the resource security that you need to have a haven of calm. What once looked eccentric, homesteading, dual residencies, off-grid business models, now looks prophetic and like the only way that everybody should be moving in 2026 and beyond. So I want to mark 2026 as the year of the new boarding rule, right? Let's not forget the EES, the ETIAS, and they already have something else like that happening in Qatar, which one of our clients and friends told us about this past weekend, and we were like, oh snap, I didn't know Qatar was doing that. So you may want to fly a different route than Qatar. You may want to fly Istanbul, Turkey, or try to get something, you can't really fly out Jamaica right now, but you gotta or maybe you could fly through Asia. I don't know. You gotta be more creative in these times because listen, these digital ID systems are going full throttle on the most advanced civilizations that exist on the earth today. By the middle of 2026, we can expect that there are going to be new compliance standards in aviation. The International Civil Aviation Organization and major airlines are already testing digital ID systems that merge biometric verification, health data, and financial status into one clear mark of the beast profile. Yes, I said it. Combine that with rising security protocols and soon to be boarding could require proof of citizenship compliance, health credit score compliance, and not just your identity. So, if your taxes, your military status, or sanctions in your home country screen and trigger a flag, you could be denied boarding until cleared. That's why private relocation documentation, your residency papers and your passport and your card, global insurance, second passport paperwork now becomes essential because we are living in a world where the Most High starts to ask, according to the scriptures, will he even find faith on earth? I used to just wonder at that verse when I was a new believer. I would just say, why would he ask that? He knows that we love him and believe in him. But in the age of AI, where everything can be mocked and gimmicked and produced into something else, and you're going to see these robots walking on the road, and you're going to be like, Father, why didn't you return quicker? Just understand, you have to build up your strength and endurance. He who endures to the end shall be saved. But if you're not capable of enduring, if you lose faith, if you see something happen with the food stamps, you see something happen with this, and you just lose faith. This is why I believe it's so important for everybody to travel. Traveling increases your faith in a way that I cannot even describe to you. When you just show up on the spot and land somewhere and the Most High blesses you, you're like, oh, Father, I see you moving because I've never been in this territory, and yet this is your territory. Scripture reminds us that when nations prepare for war, faith is tested. Nation will rise against nation, but you will not be troubled. This is not the time to panic. This is time for you to perceive what's happening. Faithful travelers and diaspora builders, since these shifts are not random, they're birth pangs of a new world order, a call to prepare households, stabilize your mind, stabilize your children, stabilize your alliances. Look, because you gotta have your circle tight. You can't have nothing penetrating your inner circle of your family and your one or two friends, because look, the last days are treacherous. Maybe I'll go read Thessalonians one day and just upload it here so everybody can understand what is going to happen in the last day, so we're all on one accord, because I think a lot of people think stuff is sweet, think stuff is cute, stuff is like, let's go party, let's do this. Like, nah, we are in different times. Like, you know, some of these people walking down the street have these chips, these Neuralink, some of these people, especially in the States, aren't even real people anymore. Like, a lot of people that you deal with are not the people that you should be dealing with, okay? Your mission isn't to flee chaos. It's to steward in clarity while you're in it. The hidden remnant has always known preservation is prophetic. So here are my action steps for you as a modern expat. Number 1, audit your mobility portfolio. List every country where you hold legal access or have investments, passport, visa, or residency. Fill the gaps. Number 2, secure your assets offshore. You want to make sure you diversify your currency exposure and choose banks outside single nation control. Number 3, we always do this, quite honestly. We did this when we thought we were going to Ghana, we went to Tanzania, we thought we were going to South Africa, we went to Mauritius. Reevaluate your destination, because it could save you heartache. It could save you medical bills. It could save you safety. It could save you a lot. Reevaluate and prioritize nations with low military alliances and high food water autonomy. Number 4, invest in skill transfer, remote work, digital trade, learn the stock market, content creation. Okay? You need to be able to be resilient and flexible in these last days. I'm so glad 9 years ago I started my freelance writing business, because it's the perfect model for international travel. Like, I just absolutely love it. Okay? And number 5, document your plan B. Keep printed, notarized copies in 2 locations. Number 6, obviously, is the most important. Stay spiritually grounded. Keep your faith. Don't let the faithless or the people who don't have faith and have fear, have doubt, don't let confused people get in your mind. Your mind is the battle for your heart and the battle for your willpower. If the Most High wants to take you to Malaysia, to take you to Botswana, to take you to Namibia, if he wants to take you to Mauritius, wherever he feels that he would like his children in the end days to be positioned for whatever is coming next, it's time to build community and calm around it, not panic. Be obedient, endure to the end. Subscribe to the channel, watch the Mauritius Africa playlist if you're interested. Subscribe to members only. Check out the links in the description, because President Trump said it, okay? He said, look, we are resuming nuclear war testing. Now the question is, what are you going to do with that information? Shalom, shalom. I'll see you in the next video.